values, and that's what I stand for.
Can I answer Faisal's question? The answer is that countries like the US, Canada, and Japan all have higher levels of debt than the UK, but they are not following the policies that will lead to a recession. We are an outlier. Everybody understands that COVID is a 1-in-100-year event, and trying to pay it back straight away, so quickly, that we actually damage our economy, that we end up causing a recession, that we end up in people being out of work, and that hard-working taxpayers who do the right thing have seen their taxes rise, despite the fact that we promised in our manifesto not to do it.
Hang on, Faisal.
I think that is what is wrong.
You just mentioned 3 countries. Do you know what mortgage rates are in the US at the moment? Do you want to use them as an example? Their mortgage rates are almost 50% higher than mortgage rates in this country because they're borrowing so much.
I'm sorry, this
Canada.
is scaremongering.
Canada actually
this is Project Fear.
Liz, I remember the referendum campaign. I remember the referendum campaign, and there were only one of us who was on the side of Remain and Project Fear, and it was you, not me.
Okay.
And you talk
maybe
about
I've
this.
learnt from that.
We talk about this. It was your economic advisor, right? You were on the Today programme. You named one person who supported your plans. That one person, not me, not some theoretical thing, that one person said that your plans would mean interest rates going up to 7%. I think you should be honest with people about the trade-offs involved. Because your proposals would mean that we get this short-term sugar rush of unfunded borrowed tax cuts, but that would be followed by the crash of higher prices and higher mortgage rates, and that is not something that I want to cause for anyone here.
You've just put in the highest tax rate for 70 years. How on earth can you claim that that's going to drive economic growth? And where have the growth policies been for the past 2.5 years to drive investment into our towns and cities across this country? What I would do is I would realise the post-Brexit opportunities. I would do things like change Solvency II and MiFID, and I'd get on with it because I'm prepared to take on the orthodoxy. The reality here is this is the same line that we heard from Gordon Brown when he was in the Treasury, the same line being repeated.
Well, I must clarify one thing. I must clarify one thing.
Really important. Hang on. You talk about Liz has been on a journey as well. There was a time when Liz was talking about having a golden era of relationships with China, and on a mission there was talking about having deeper collaboration in things like food security and technology. But what we do need to do is acknowledge that China is a threat to our national security. It's a threat to our economic security. And that's why, as Chancellor, I was pleased that we could put forward something called the National Security and Investment Bill. And that gives us the powers as a country to protect ourselves against countries like China who are trying to infiltrate our companies and steal our technology. That's what we need to do. But we also need to stand up for our values. And for example, when it came to Hong Kong, I was pleased to ensure that we put the funding in place to welcome to this country thousands of people who wanted to leave.
Rishi, I challenged you on this in the debate last week. As recently as a month ago, you were pushing for closer trade relationships with China. This is not something you've advocated in government. I'm delighted that you've come round to my way of thinking. But it's been driven by the Foreign Office, the toughest stance we've taken on China, whether it's creating the alternative to the Chinese Belt and Road with our G7 colleagues, whether it's being clear that Taiwan should be able to defend itself in the face of Chinese aggression. We have led on that, and frankly, what we've heard from the Treasury is a desire for closer economic relations with China. My view is we should not repeat the mistake we made with Russia of becoming strategically dependent on Russia, and we're now facing the costs of that on energy. We can't be strategically dependent on China.
Let Rishi Sunak answer.
But Liz, you said not that long ago that our relations with China were entering a golden era.
I think that was almost a decade ago. I said that, Rishi.
It was just a few years ago. You went on a trip there and you wanted to deepen collaboration in areas like food security and technology. Now, look, it's right that as threats change, we all need to evolve policy for that. But look, I agree with actually the head of MI5, who recently addressed this issue and made it plainly clear that, of course, we need to protect our values, stand up for our values, protect our country against threats, but that's not incompatible with engaging with countries around the world when it's in our interest to do so.
I need to bring Faisal Islam on it.
That we can protect ourselves in the process.
Let me bring Faisal on.